Welcome back to the ComX Indie Comic
Hey,
Review.
how are
Hey,
you?
I'm good, thank you, Max. And uh, we're going to cut the long intros today, and we'll just get straight into it. This is a comic that has been sent to us, and this is well, Shane's had people send them into him, and I've had people send them into me, and this one's all Max's. So I'm going to leave the introduction to you, Max. Go for it.
Well, Liza Ray begins with a biker chick on a motorcycle speeding through an alleyway, and right at from the go, it's all action, it's all kineticism, it's all speed lines and fast-paced panels, and it's all uh, it's all a barrage. That's the best way I could put it. It's a sensory, streamlined action scene, and it almost reminds me of a video game in that when it's light on plot, it's definitely high octane, and it's evident right from the end of the first. I want to say it's the epilogue. And I'm not giving out any spoilers when I tell you that the protagonist gets shot in the head, and that is probably the only time in this comic book's entire page run that there is any downtime, because from that moment on, from her resurrection by fantastical sci-fi means, it's one streamlined mission for revenge.
Okay, I can agree with you in one point there that you're not giving much away because there really isn't much of a plot to give away on this.
No, no.
Okay, I looked at this and I was going, "What the?" And I'm reading through it and go, and then it was hinted to me that, and it all come back to me after this hint, and it's very much, if you look at it as a homage to early Image when they first started, Youngblood, Wildcats, Liefeld, and boom, it's there. It's it's right down that alley, and if you like that kind of stuff, this is right in your wheelhouse. There is so many things I found funny about this comic, and I don't think it was intentional. Like let's face it, the colors. The colors are straight out of the 1990s. That
That those like
image.
earthy yet
Oh, oh, yeah,
cyberpunkish, yeah, contrasts,
smack
yeah.
in the head. Um, Action, violence, non-stop thrust. And I'm going to say at the expense of the story, because things are just brushed over so fast because it's just in a hurry to get to where it wants to be. There are a lot of things we can get into later that were a killer. But once again, as I say, if you look at this as an homage to that early Image stuff, it all comes together. It all makes sense. Uh, it's not something that I would really read normally, but after that was explained to me and I went back, yeah, I looked at it in a different light. Isn't that funny how it just takes that one little explanation to change your view on something? So
Well, yeah. I mean, I harken back to like B movie feminist or female character driven action films. Russ Meyer comes to mind. Faster Pussycat Kill Kill,
mhm.
or
Yeah, is that the one with Chesty Morgan in it?
yes, yeah, she's got that guy. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, there's
Super
even
tight jumpsuits with cleavage. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that immediately came to mind, and even uh, more recent depictions of like these fierce uh, action-packed stories within cinema Fury Road comes to mind, the Volvolini, and even Furiosa herself, where it's all everything is. It might seem on the page or on the screen everything is a mess, but the lack of plot, or the lack of subplot, and the fact that everything is streamlined results in you being caught in the propulsive nature of the story. I find myself like turning the pages almost too quickly, having to slow myself down due to this this kinetic storytelling.
I think not having a plot is a bit cruel because it is one of three. There's a trilogy of issues,
Yes.
so there is so much happening because it starts. It does a full circle, but it happens so fast to the point where some of the things that happen are ridiculous.
Well,
Like
she's
the
all,
courtroom.
yeah,
It's nothing's wasted on detail.
extension, yeah.
Let's just get where we're going to go. Like she,
Yeah. It like a panel work. It's bang, 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 and and then as a result, yes, it is at the expense of story, but as a result, yeah, you're more invested in the emotion of the piece. And that particular emotion can best be described as adrenaline. You're definitely caught up in the adrenaline of the piece.
it definitely has a heavy art style because it has that the colors are bright, but I don't know. It's a heavy pen line. Did you find that the art
Yeah,
was very
yeah,
very heavy on the inks?
quite 90s. Would you say like?
Well, that's what gets me. It just reeks of that image era, 90s. You know, when they burst onto the scene, and was it late 80s to into the 90s?
I'm not sure.
And when I did read it, I thought, oh, this looks like Rob Liefeld, some of this stuff, because the big boobs, the skinny waist, and and the flared jeans. Where I didn't even think this woman had.
Apologies, sorry, I'm having a bit of a bad hair day. I mean, it's very reflexive of the comic itself. It's visually all over the place.
You need a hairband.
No,
Um,
yeah, I need a
I,
razor. Yeah.
and the other thing is, I don't know if it's intentionally funny. Uh,
Hmm.
I hope it is because the way it works so fast is that it's kind of in your face. The way that she has flares and you can't see her feet, and then her mother is the same, you know, and her mother is as hot as she is.
Yeah.
Or her stepmom. And then, you know, the cops are stupid and the legal system's stupid. And when she goes to jail, she has a matching tight fitting jail outfit complete with flares where you can't see her feet. And then when she gets electrocuted, she's still got, you know, this stud in her mouth and her long hair and the same tight fitting. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's, boop, she's dead, and she goes, I don't know what it's like to be dead, but you know, it hurts. I'm thinking, what? But then they cut to the graveyard. This is, I don't think I'm giving away anything here. And did you notice what was in the graveyard? Where they buried her?
What was in the graveyard?
Well, did you see her tombstone? It was that great big huge monument. I
All
thought,
right.
oh, they just buried it. And he went, no, it had a name on it. And what happens when she bursts out of the ground? Uh, there's a hot chick waiting for her, going, "Hi, will you be my friend?" this is taking the piss. It is literally taking the piss.
Yeah. Yeah. I found myself at reading the courtroom page, and then right till the end of the of that scene where she meets this mystery person at the cemetery, and eventually ends up taking her clothes. Yeah, I found myself like bridging that gap very very quickly. and yeah, I think that might have been the point. You hit those story beats, but yeah, the journey is just so it's the thrust is just so exhilarating that you don't notice how quickly you get there.
Now we discussed this last episode at the end after the last episode ended, and we said, "Are we going to do one or two?" And I regret now, knowing what I know, that we only read the first one. I think we should have pushed it into the second one, just to see where the hell it goes.
Look, the second one again, you're thrust into like page one or almost page two into a four-way action sequence with swords and guns and one versus three. Yeah. When I read the first one, I immediately went into the second one because such was the nature of the artwork and the panel work and the page work that you're just caught up in this streamlined affair.
Well, me myself, I wanted to know more about the story because she stole a motorbike. We at the start, why? And then someone found her in the coppers, but that was relating to the end of the comic, and then as you said, she got shot in the head. She died twice in this comic, but that's got something to do with who she is. And then we met the mystery guy who knows who she is or knows all about her, but she's got no idea who he is. So it's
Yeah,
just full of what have I just read?
yeah.
I have just watched this big, colourful, crazy, big boobed heroine. Well, what we don't even know if she's come from. Is she just mistreated, or is she just a vicious murderer? It's hard to tell. Oh, there is so many open questions that need to be answered. So
Yeah. Well,
probably a good reason to when you think about it, it's a great little marketing exercise. People are going to have to go to number two because they've just got to know what the
that's
hell.
what I did. Yeah. But to get caught up in that sort of analysis might be in a sense missing the point because this character, she's more of a vessel for action, for her intention, which is very simple but very relatable. Revenge, clearing her name, so many simple but very human, very relatable primal emotions, and the most primal of which is survival, because that's what's going on from page to page. She's just getting out of these scrapes, and her antagonists, the obstacles that come between her and her goal, they themselves are mutants, and they're just getting more enhanced and bigger, one boss fight after another.
Yes, I know it is. Who? There's aliens. There's secret agencies. There's thugs. There's police. There's crazy ignorant judges. It's bang.
It's a video game. And not only that, I would say it would be like a platformer where it's just you and the avatar in that space, and you're just going to run forwards and just kill demons on your way out of the dungeon.
I do believe that this comic should have a disclaimer in the first front explaining a little bit because I think this is in danger of people not really looking at it with the sense of humor I did, as I first did, and I was very close to it, and just saying, what is this? This was written by a whole heap of 15-year-olds who like boobs and action movies. It took me a while to kind of look at it from a total different angle because that's what we do here. It's not my cup of tea, but I made it my cup of tea because, as I said, somebody informed me of looking at it, of what it reminded them of, and my brain went click. Oh, okay, now it all makes sense. But I think maybe that would have been a good idea, just saying maybe a homage in the style of maybe, or if you thought, uh, what can we say?
A Rob Liefeld title. I'm not
Oh no,
familiar.
what's that video game? Uh, with not Need for Speed. The one with everyone goes around shooting everybody in the head and stealing cars.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, yeah, like that. If you like Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah, yeah.
it'll suit you, you know, because
With a more nocturnal and superhuman bent. Yes,
yes,
yeah, that's very well put. Yeah,
strap yourself in because this is going to take you places you got no idea where you're going to end up at, and that's what it does. It's
and,
very
and
adrenaline filled, and
yeah, and it'll take you there, yeah, very very quickly. And the artwork is just fierce. The artwork is so. You have an intruder. You have an interloper.
oh yeah, I have a cup of tea. Come here. Thank you. There we go. See, we have a drinking service here. Thank you very much. So I didn't see her on the screen because I've got Liza Ray opened on the other side here, with her red hair, and as I said, there's a section of where she's fighting her mother, and you think, what is this? This is all that's missing is the jelly for the the wrestling.
The fact that she's combative with her mother makes the object of her like revenge seeking of her retribution
Mm.
even more complicated, because it's not a damsel, so to speak, or like in Punisher's case, helpless people in his orbit who are killed. The person who she needs to avenge is decidedly unpleasant. And, I like that layer.
Yeah, well, actually, there's no real reason for anybody for her to avenge anybody. It's more like it's just to make some sense of what her life's turned out to be. This is an all Australian crew who did this.
I believe Dushan. Yeah, Dushan is a Sri Lankan Australian, and I think he did everything. With the exception of the lettering, he did
Yeah,
the
SK did that. Yeah.
yeah the yeah the pencils, the inks, and I think the coloring as well.
Yeah. I can understand why they did it in a kind of like an American setting, because let's face it, it's the only place in the world where you can have so many guns, just free willy. Yeah. And
Unintended social commentary.
yeah, and of course have the death penalty. I suppose you could do that in Russia too. I don't know, but
Yeah,
yeah.
well, China has the highest, quote unquote, score in that regard. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But yes, I've got to get hold of number two now. I've got to see where it takes me.
Yes, and Dushan.
On to number three, as if I have to jump into it. It is a complete series. I'm not
Yeah,
aware.
Dushan is in the process of illustrating number three, and we ComX, who is distributing the book, is expected to have that on Kickstarter by September, I believe. Maybe the pre-launch is already up, and the link will be down there. So yeah, follow it and just be part of this journey. And unlike a lot of Kickstarters right now, including my own, where the stories are at their inception, you're gonna catch the Liza Ray's trilogy at its conclusion. You're gonna be at the full circle of this story, of the narrative, such as it is.
It'd be something to look forward to, because it is a crazy ride, and as I said, I was first thought totally different, and I changed my mind and my view after I had that one little thing explained to me, and I looked at it a totally different light, and saw this is a crazy piece of work. This is worth the ride. Definitely worth the ride.
Yeah, no, yeah. I dug it. I liked it, and I was actually selling it to people during Supernova, and yeah, it took out a lot of copies. Yeah, in those 2 days, just on the basis of those people liking action. I never sold it on the basis of the big boobs, but it was more the yeah the pared down uh, emotions, the pared down story, which allowed for a hugely propulsive experience.
Well, this goes to prove something, because this is something that you wanted to do. You thought, well, I like this, and it just proves that we really do not communicate beforehand. We like to keep our views independent of each other. When I first read this, I thought, "What the hell does Max see in this?" And it's quite. And it was only just before. I keep reiterating this, that it wasn't only to not long before this went to air that that I saw the light and saw it in a different view, and changed my mind, because
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
it's a crazy ride.
yeah.
It's left me speechless. But on that note, we've finished. But Liza Ray, as Max said, is going to be finishing up through a Kickstarter very, very soon.
Pre-launch is out right now, so hit that notify.
Yeah, and you can pick up the comic in the ComX store, where you can
Awesome.
order as many as you want, pay your comics, and it will always be one single postage cost, $9, whether you get one or 100. Oh, 100, I think you might have to do
Yeah, that's
shade a bit here and go, please don't put me out of business. Yeah, anyway, on that note, thank you, Max. It was a thrilling ride, and let's see what you bring to the table next time.
a haircut. That's what I'm gonna bring. I gotta cut my hair.
All right, mate. All right, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.